Week 2 is in the books, and there's some guys on the waiver wire that need to be added. Let's find out who they are. What is going on, Headliners Nation? Hey, before I get into the show, I have a pretty cool offer for you guys. Our friends at FanPix are hooking up all you Fantasy Headliner fans with some freebies. If you sign up now for a free FanPix account, you'll get a $25 voucher for select DFS contests. It's quick, easy, all free, and no deposit is needed. Just go to rotoballer.com/FanPix and use the promo code BALLER25 to sign up. Every Sunday, we'll be hosting our DFS free roll contest called the Magic Million. You'll compete against other viewers and against me also. It's free to enter with cash prizes and no strings attached. You can check out the entire FanPix portfolio of DFS contests, including easy pick games, in-game contests, and so much more. Remember, just head to rotoballer.com/FanPix to claim your free $25 voucher and try to beat me in the Magic Million DFS free roll this week. Lineups lock at 1 p.m. Eastern. Good luck. What is going on, everybody? Jake, Fantasy Headliners. Hopefully everybody's doing well out there. And here we are. Week 3 is upon us. The first 2 weeks of the fantasy football season are over, and they're over already. It just seems like it goes so fast. Hopefully everybody's having a great season so far. But if you're not, if you have some holes in your lineup, if you had some injuries this week, whatever it is, I got a list of names here that are people that need to be added. They're all owned in less than 50% of leagues, and they could really help your team out here over the next few weeks. Before I get into this list, though, hey, after this video, make sure you head over to the RotoBaller YouTube channel. Lots of great content over there this week. The live shows on Sunday have been a huge hit. You need lineup advice last minute on Sundays? That's where you need to be. We'll be there 12 p.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern, answering as many start-sit questions as we possibly can for you guys. So make sure you head over there after this video and subscribe. But for now, let's talk about all the guys on the waiver wire that need some attention here for Week 3. Who wants to talk about a little Ryan Fitzmagic? I mean, let's be real, right? I mean, anybody that looks like this deserves to be owned in your fantasy football league. This dude is now a Hall of Famer in my book just based off of his post-game wardrobe alone. The dude is awesome. I mean, chest hair, gold chain, what else could you ask for? But hey, the guy is also killing it on the football field. This past week, he threw for 400 yards, 4 touchdowns, had 1 interception, but his quarterback rating on the season is 151. Now, there's already reports coming out that he may keep this job if he continues this. Jameis Winston may be the future, but the current future may be Ryan Fitzpatrick. The defense is not that solid in Tampa Bay. The run game can't get going. They're going to continue to throw. Deshaun Jackson looking great. Mike Evans looking great. Chris Godwin's being sneaky good, and he's got weapons all over the place. Love Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's only 20% owned in leagues right now. If you're looking for quarterback help, Ryan Fitzpatrick is a great ad. Ride him while he's hot. Not sold on Ryan Fitzpatrick, let's talk about Andy Dalton then. It seems like almost every year Andy Dalton comes into the year with all this hype. Everybody's excited because he's got these weapons around him, and then he kind of disappoints. Well, so far this year, he's not really disappointing. Last week, he threw for 265 and 4 touchdowns. His current quarterback rating is 108. And now with the injury to Joe Mixon, do they rely a little bit more on the passing game? It's entirely possible. Gio Bernard is not a 3-down back, and now they have weapons emerging on the outside with A.J. Green, who's consistent, Tyler Boyd taking a huge step forward, and John Ross still hasn't hit his potential. This is definitely a team that can take a step forward in the passing game over the next few weeks while Joe Mixon is out. Love Andy Dalton, and right now, he's only owned in 27% of leagues. Definitely worth an ad if you're looking for some quarterback help. Let's talk about some running backs now, and the first one on the list is going to be Clement. Now, he's only owned in 22% of leagues, and he hasn't exactly been killing it so far this year. But we all kind of had a Jay Ajayi scare for the first time this season. Left the game early with a back injury, ended up returning and playing. But it kind of got us thinking. If anything happens to Jay Ajayi, all of a sudden, the top offensive line in football will be blocking for Clement. Now, if you're a Jay Ajayi owner, you definitely need to go out there and add Clement. But even if you're not, he's definitely worth a look in deeper leagues. He could provide PPR value on a weekly basis. And if Jay Ajayi goes down, he's low-end RB2 at worst. Love Clement and the upside, especially with the banged-up possibility of a Jay Ajayi at any time. Probably one of the most popular pickups of the week is going to be Gio Bernard of the Cincinnati Bengals. He's currently only owned in 39% of leagues. Now, with the news of the Joe Mixon injury and being out for a few weeks, Gio Bernard becomes the starting running back of the Cincinnati Bengals. Why that's a good thing for Gio Bernard is he's going to get a chance to go out there and give the coaching staff a reminder of what he is. He's been somebody who's been a thorn in the side of whoever the starting running back has always been in Cincinnati. And now he's going to get his opportunity to go out there and prove himself. What that could do is open the door for more touches as the season goes on. Even when Mixon comes back, Gio could earn a larger role if he can go out here the next few weeks and actually produce some solid numbers. Gio Bernard is definitely worth a look, even if you're the Mixon owner or not. Like I said, he could end up having season-long flex value, and that's not so bad to pick up off the waiver wire. I'm going to do my best to sound excited for this name, but full disclosure, I'm really not. Let's talk about Uncle Buck Allen of the Baltimore Ravens, who's currently only owned in 19% of leagues. Now, if you own Alex Collins, you despise Buck Allen. I own a lot of Alex Collins, therefore, I despise Buck Allen. But the facts are the facts. He's led the team in goal line touches the past 2 years. That's not going to change. He's very involved in the passing game, not only out of the backfield, but he also lines up in the slot at times, and he's one of the targets that Joe Flacco looks to in short passing games, and he's been effective. He's never going to be the type of guy that goes out and gets huge yardage week in and week out. But if you're looking for a flex play in PPR leagues with high upside and touchdown upside, Buck Allen is a solid grab for you here this week on the waiver wire in week 3. This guy I'm a lot more excited about. Let's talk about Austin Ekeler of the Los Angeles Chargers. He's currently owned in 43% of leagues, so he's getting dangerously close to this 50% cutoff. In fact, after this week, he'll probably be past the 50% cutoff and won't be on the show anymore. But this past week, he ran 11 rushes for 77 yards, caught 3 balls for 21 yards. The kid is electric. He's talented, and the Chargers are using him. He's not eating into the production of Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon's still getting his. But Austin Ekeler is a real part of the Los Angeles Chargers offense, especially in the passing game. May not have had big numbers this week, but that's what he's there for. The carries he's getting are a plus, and he's doing something with it. Averaging 7 yards a carry is only going to get you more work. He's somebody who has weekly flex play upside, especially in PPR leagues. Definitely worth the ad. And if anything happens to Melvin Gordon, Austin Ekeler could be a huge, huge asset. He's definitely somebody I'm targeting this week on the waiver wire. Next up is going to be Chris Ivory of the Buffalo Bills, and he's only on here because of the injury to Shady McCoy with his ribs. Sounds like he's going to try to play this early in the week. We don't know. Something we'll have to pay attention to. I'm not overly high on Chris Ivory, but I included him because I know I'm going to get a lot of questions about him this week. Even if he starts for the Buffalo Bills, do we really want to start the running back for the Buffalo Bills? Probably not. I don't want to do it. If you're desperate and you're in a deep league and you're looking for help, go ahead and add Chris Ivory. Don't spend a lot of your fab budget, and I wouldn't use an early waiver priority if you have it. We don't even know if he's going to play for sure. But Shady with some banged up ribs in an offense that can't block, can't score, can't get in the red zone, doesn't have a whole lot of upside for Chris Ivory. But if you're desperate, Chris Ivory's out there, only owned in 4% of leagues for the Buffalo Bills. Just don't be too excited that you have to add Chris Ivory, running back of the Buffalo Bills. Let's move on to some wide receivers now, and the first one I got on the list is Keelan Cole of the Jacksonville Jaguars, currently owned in 48% of leagues, so I really don't expect him to make it back on this show again either. I'm pretty sure he crosses the 50% cutoff this week. Keelan Cole needs some serious consideration, though. He had 7 catches for 116 yards and a touchdown this past week against the Patriots, and he had one of the greatest catches I've ever seen in an NFL football game. The dude is electric. He is the big play receiver for the Jacksonville Jaguars. The positive part with it is Blake Bortles is looking pretty good. Better than a lot of us thought Blake Bortles would look, and he's looking Keelan Cole's way a lot. Keelan Cole can do a lot with very little targets. He doesn't need to have 15 targets a game to go out there and be productive. He's the type of receiver with the deep play threat that he needs 4 to 5 catches, and he could put up a solid game for you. Keelan Cole definitely needs to be added in your league if he's available, and he's also almost borderline must-start flex play from week to week. He has that type of upside, great talent, and I'm definitely trying to add Keelan Cole if I need some wide receiver help. Chris Godwin is next on the list for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and he's only owned in 34% of leagues right now. He's somebody whose numbers aren't going to blow you away. They're not going to be these huge 100-yard games, but he has touchdowns in back-to-back games, and he's one of Ryan Fitzpatrick's favorite targets in the red zone. Ryan Fitzpatrick is like almost the greatest of all time now. After that post-game outfit that he had on, dude is a sure lock for the Hall of Fame. Love it. Chest hair and gold chains, I guess, is still in because he was rocking it. But anyway, Chris Godwin is somebody who has huge upside. I had a bold prediction for him earlier in the season. A lot of people laughed at it. Now he's 2 games in. The yardage isn't quite there yet, but the touchdown potential is. If you're looking for a big play receiver in an offense that is heavily favoring the pass right now, Chris Godwin is definitely worth an add. If anything were to happen to Deshaun Jackson, who is injury prone, Chris Godwin gets a huge bump in production, and that could greatly benefit your fantasy football team. John Brown, next on the list for the Baltimore Ravens, only owned in 24% of leagues, and the dude is playing crazy good football right now. This past week, he had 4 catches for 92 yards and a touchdown. He's easily become Joe Flacco's favorite target, and the play calling involves his number a lot. And the only knock we've ever really had on John Brown in his days in Arizona was he couldn't stay healthy with the sickle cell trait. He seems to be healthy. He seems to be playing great football, and he's always had the talent. They've called him Smoke for a reason. The dude is crazy fast. His pass catching ability is way improved from when he first broke into the league. He made a catch this week. The ball basically looked like it almost went through the defender, and he made the catch. Great playmaking ability for a Baltimore offense that's throwing the ball a lot more than we had anticipated when the season started. John Brown is a great add this week on the waiver wire. Let's go double Brownie, shall we? Let's talk about 2 Browns receivers that need a look here on the waiver wire. You have Antonio Callaway, only owned in 3% of leagues. And you got Rashard Higgins, who's only owned in 1% of leagues. So let's be real. The only people that own these guys are their family members, probably in their home leagues. Everywhere else, they're probably available. And they're about to get a huge uptick in volume. Josh Gordon is no longer in town, not coming back. No more Josh Gordon. And it's because they believe in these 2 guys. Now, Antonio Callaway is more of the big threat receiver. He had 3 catches for 81 yards and a touchdown this past week. It's who they look to late in the game. Rashard Higgins is more of the PPR option. He may get more receptions than Antonio Callaway, but the yardage and touchdowns just may not be there. He had 5 catches for 47 yards. Now, obviously, you don't want to go pick up both of these guys. You don't want 2 Browns receivers on your bench. Go out there, snag whichever one you can get for the cheapest price, hold on to them, and you never know. In the next few weeks, based off the target share that they could possibly get, you could have yourself a solid bye-week replacement or flex play if needed. I'm definitely taking a look at Antonio Callaway and Rashard Higgins. Earlier in the show, we talked about Andy Dalton being a quarterback that needed to be added. Well, what about one of his receivers? Tyler Boyd is somebody that we need to take a look at here on the waiver wire. He's only owned in 1% of leagues, and last week he had 6 catches for 91 yards and a touchdown. He seems to have taken over that number 2 role in Cincinnati that we originally thought was going John Ross's way. John Ross has just been way too inconsistent. Tyler Boyd has taken the job and run with it, and he's definitely somebody who could have huge upside. Most times the defenses are keying in on A.J. Green, unless you're the Baltimore Ravens, and then you pay no attention to A.J. Green. But in most cases, with all that attention going A.J.'s way, Tyler Boyd will be the one that benefits from it. He is definitely worth a look, and if you need a solid bye-week replacement or flex play, he's looking like he's somebody who can be trusted. But as of right now, definitely add him, stash him on your bench. You never know when you could need him. All right, so there's a list of a few people out there, less than 50% owned, that are on waivers that you need to pay attention to this week. Whether you need them to come in and start or you just looking for some bench depth, there's some great options here on the list. Listen, the comment sections on these videos are getting huge. Had over 5,000 comments 2 weeks ago, had over 5,000 comments again this week. I do my best to get to as many of them as possible. There is no other fantasy football channel on YouTube that is as interactive with their fans as I am. That's what I pride myself on. That's what I really try to do. I spend hours and hours and hours and hours a week trying to answer as many questions as possible, but I can't get to all of them. Make sure you guys are helping each other out. If you see somebody who's asking a question, you may know the answer to it. That's what we're trying to do here, is build a positive community. I'm not looking for none of that negative stuff all over the place. Ain't nobody got time for that. But hey, really appreciate you guys. Make sure you guys are liking, commenting, subscribing. Really appreciate the support. We're making that push to 20K. Who's with me? Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button, and we'll talk to you later. Thanks.